creating a client roadmap for your business. We know that the lifeblood to our business are the clients that we end up working with. Every single one of us, the ideal is that we're doing the work we love in the way that we want to do it with the clients that we love. In that way, we're creating a business that we love, something that we enjoy, something that we love to hang out with, something that's on purpose, that's driving us. And yet, I see too many people who get frustrated because essentially they're working with the wrong clients. Over these last few weeks, I've had a number of conversations with clients around this stuff. Hi there, around this stuff where they're really busy, they're working really hard, they may have a huge portfolio of clients, but often they're doing the work that they don't want to do, or there's something that's sort of itchy jacket with these clients, or they may even not be getting paid what it is that they want to be paid. The other challenge is that when we start out, we are obviously hustling for clients, and we need those clients to pay and to fuel our revenue model. And so we often take on clients that aren't right, and in that hustle we're growing, and it gets to this point where we go, oh my God, I'm not actually working with the people that I love. Do you feel like that? So what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that we get the ideal clients, so that we are doing the work that we want to do in the way that we want to do it with the clients that we love. And what I want to share with you today are 4 steps to make sure that you are attracting that ideal client into your business. Because here's the thing, when you know your client, it makes sure and it ensures that everything that you put out there into the market, your marketing, your communication, your product mix, your price points, your social media, everything is talking to this ideal client, which makes sure you attract them. So before we go there, let's just quickly go over some of the problems that we face. So as I was touching on earlier, the biggest challenge is that in our haste to actually get sales into our businesses, we often take on the wrong pieces of work. There's no doubt about it that if you're not getting the leads and if you're not getting the sales, you can end up in this financial strife, this real pressure, which fuels you taking on the wrong clients. And what can happen is this client mismatch. So we take on clients that are not quite ideal. They may have negotiated hard on our price. They may even have asked us to do work that we don't really enjoy anymore, or it's work that we did ages ago, but we're not doing now. And so what happens is you get this client mismatch, because that financial pressure makes you take on clients, because surely it's better than having none, right? I don't agree with that. I think the challenge with the client mismatch is that you end up doing work that you don't particularly enjoy, you don't particularly love. You may have taken on people, as I said, at the wrong price point. And what happens is we get this increased frustration. We start having an anxiety around our business. And instead of having a business that we love, that is joyful, that is purposeful, where we're doing the work we love with the clients we love in the way that we want to do it, instead of all of that, what ends up happening is you've created a business where potentially the very dream that you have has become shackles around your ankles, and it's not adding joy at all, and potentially negatively impacting your lifestyle. This is what happens when we don't get clear on our clients. What we want to do is ultimately reap the rewards for every single bit of effort that we're putting in, so that every single day matters. Every single connection and conversation with your customers matters. The work that you're doing matters, and you feel like you are doing the work that you love in the way that you want to do it. The second thing is we want to work with clients that we love. Over the years of running my business, oh my goodness, there have been absolute times where I've taken on the wrong clients in my haste to prop up my revenue line. And I end up resenting them. I end up not enjoying working with them. And that's not a great place to be. So it's about making sure that we have these clients that we love and ultimately doing the work that we love. So this is what I'm talking about today. I want to give you a 4-step framework so that you are able to find these ideal clients that are going to fuel your business. Now, if you're watching this live, I'd love you to comment below. What is the biggest mistake that you're making right now when it comes to working with your clients, and when you look at your client base? Are you not getting paid enough? Have you got way too many clients? Are you working too hard? Is the stuff that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing? Just message below. What is it about your current client base that you'd love to change? And if you're watching this on replay, just message replay. And again, put your comment below. It allows us then to see where you're at in this conversation. So what I'm going to share with you now are 4 key steps. I'm going to load up my workbook, which, by the way, again, if you want a copy of this when you're watching the replay or live, just put workbook in the comments, or client, sorry, let me change that, put client so I can find it in the comments, and I'll absolutely send you a copy of this workbook that I'm about to share. So let me just jump on it over to this iPad. I'm going to change where my face is. Hello, hello. Introduce yourselves in the chat. So as I said, this workbook, if you want a copy of it, just put client in the copy, in the comment below, and I'll send you a copy. So for 4 steps to finding the ideal client, the opportunity here is that we are doing the work that we love in the way that we want to do it, with the clients that we love. We want to add joy to our business. We want to make sure that we're reaping the rewards, and we want to be growing alongside and with our clients over time, not being in a place where our clients are holding us back. So step number 1, the first thing that you've got to do is actually identify who is your ideal client. So this is step number 1. So what I want you to think about here is thinking about your client base right now. If we were to have this axis on the left-hand side of this page, you can see this little graph, or little table for you to fill in. If we imagine this horizontal line being, I love to call this my love axis, where I have lots and lots and lots of love for my clients, and not very much at the bottom end. So your horizontal axis is that love axis. The vertical axis, this is the revenue line. And so we've got little revenue up to lots of revenue. And essentially what we're going to do, what I want you to do in your own time, is plot your current clients on this graph in one of 4 places. Now, if you don't currently have any clients, if you're in startup phase, or you've only got 1 or 2 of the clients, I want you to think about where your ideal is during this step 1. And if you've got 1 client, where are they sitting at the moment? By the way, when I did this with a client probably about 6 months ago, what became really apparent is that she built her entire business on clients that she had no love for. And so what we had to do was a strategy of gradually adding in these ideal clients and slowly losing the clients that she wanted to move on for. So it is a bit of an eye-opener, and I would highly recommend you do this exercise every quarter, every 6 months. So let's go back. So you'll see there's 4 boxes. This, if we go to the bottom left-hand corner first, these are your D-grade clients, the clients that actually are bringing in very little revenue, and there's not much love there. So these clients have little revenue and little love. And my suggestion here is that over time, these are the ones that ultimately you want to lose. Those are your clients that you ultimately want to lose. Let's go directly opposite. We're going to go directly opposite to the A grade. These are your perfect stars. These are clients that you love. And you love them because they're actually paying you what you're worth. They're bringing in high revenue, and they're also clients that you absolutely adore. If you have some of those, write them down. Write the clients in that box. If you haven't, it's okay. We've got to find those clients. Now, this strategy here, obviously, on these A-grade clients, is we want more of them. But first of all, I want you to identify if you've got them first. Now, you'll see the other 2 boxes, B and C. Let's start with the B B grade clients first. These are the clients that have good revenue. Oops, let me just change that quickly. Da, da, da. So these clients have great revenue. They're bringing in the dollars, but there's very little love there. Bring in the dollars, but there's very little love there. What I want you to get curious, if you've got some of these clients, write them in. What is it about them that is bringing down that love measure? It could be that they're overstepping the contractual agreement. It could be that there's project creep. It could be that they're unpleasant to work with. It could be that they're ringing you in all hours of the day. It could be that they're rude to your team. It could be that they're essentially overstepping those boundaries of the agreement. There's a mismatch. This is where the mismatch goes on. Here, what we've got to do ultimately, list them down there. And ultimately here, the strategy is one of resetting boundaries. You've got to reset boundaries to ensure that you're building, hopefully, that love quadrant, because these B grade are either going to become A grade, or there'll come a point where you go, I can't work with you anymore. I'm sure there's many of you on this call right now watching this that have experienced that. Now, on the other side, let's just pick another color. On the other side here, these C grade clients, do you know what? These are often the ones that we love dearly. They've been there from the start. They're people that we're doing favors for. And these are the people that we absolutely love. The love measure is really, really high. We love working with them, but they're not necessarily paying us our worth. This is where often contra deals fall in. As I said, it's clients that you started working with when you were first heading out on your own, or when you first set up your own business. And as your prices have risen and you've attracted new clients in, new A grade clients, these guys you haven't been able to move up. The objective here is you've got to upsell or let go. So we ultimately want to get them up here, or we have to let them go, because our business cannot grow if we keep it being fueled by low-paying clients. So your first objective is to identify where your current client base is. And I use this all the time with my clients. I get them to map it. And then the question I want you to ask yourself is thinking about those A-grade perfect style clients, this lot here, what connects them? What are their values? Because it's not just about the money they're bringing in or why you enjoy working for them. It's what is the connection piece around values. Take a moment and just write down what some of these values are that connect them. 8, 10, 15, whatever it is, 2, 3. And then what I want you to do is identify the top 4. The top 4 values that are important to you. So for me, my values when it comes to my client base is they have to be prepared, though they're willing to invest in their personal growth. They're fun to work with. They are smart and clever, and they are prepared to do the work. And my final one is this generosity of spirit. So I'm constantly looking at my client base and interviewing potential clients to ensure that they are prepared to invest, that they're smart and they think smartly, that they're willing to do the work, and that they have this collaborative generosity of spirit. So the question is what are yours? So identify your A-grade clients. If you haven't got any right now, that's cool. Think about who you want that ideal client to be and try and get to 4 values. So that's step 1, identify them. Step number 2 is then about describing them. So you've identified them, but now it's about, okay, who are these people? Now, what tends to happen, you got to remember, I'm a marketeer by trade, and traditionally marketeers would get you to classify your ideal client or your ideal avatar based on age and demographics and, whether they're married, where they live, etc., etc. That is just surface level stuff. Part of describing them is I want you to get curious, get inside their heads. We've got to connect this head and their heart so that you can talk to them in the way that they want to be spoken to. You've got to understand them inside out. So task number 2, key step number 2 is to identify them. Yes, do the surface level stuff that we've traditionally done over the years. Name them if you can, like put a name in there. This could be Sally. If you have a picture, put a picture in there. And describe them as you would traditionally in terms of their demographics, where they come from, their age, their marital status, etc., etc. But don't stop there. It's key that you understand them. And this is really part of step number 3. It's about really understanding them. What is it that keeps them awake at night? What are they afraid of? What makes them angry? What would they love to have a rant about? What are their top 3 daily frustrations? Like, get inside their head and their heart and see if you can connect the external superficial stuff with trying to identify what is it that's driving them. What is it that's firing them up? What are they hungry for? What is really going on inside their heads? Ask yourself, what do they secretly desire the most? Why does this matter to them? What's happening in their worlds right now that's affecting them, their lives, their business, what it is that they're doing? And also get curious as to who else is currently selling to them. This piece of understanding them is about getting deeper than the skin. It's getting under the skin of just that superficial nature of who they are. We've got to understand them. I want you to really think about, what is it that they're scared of? What are their problems? What are their fears? Get really, really deep on this, because this is the magic of what we can add into how we communicate. And if you move into this final piece here of understanding who they are, what we've got to really make sure that we understand when it comes to our ideal customers is we have to understand what is it. My iPencil has just broken, so it's not broken, it's out of power, so give it 2 seconds. But we've got to understand, what are they moving away from? I want you to think about their problems, their frustrations. What are they, if they were in a room and if you had 100 of these ideal clients in a room together, chitting, chatting, having a glass of Chardonnay, having a glass of bubbles, if they were all in one room, if you had 100 of your ideal clients in one room, what are the 3 key things that are frustrating them right now, that they're trying to move away from? What are their known problems? Their 3 known problems that are currently they're open to talking about, because they're there. They're already telling you. It's already in their heads. By the way, if you're watching this on replay or you've just watching it live, you've just jumped in now, if you want a copy of this workbook, just put client in the comments and I'll make sure to send you a copy once I stop live streaming. So what I want you to understand, to try and dig out here, are what are their 1, 2, 3 frustrations or known problems. If you imagine that you've got 100 of your grade A clients in the room, what are their 3 frustrations? What are their 3 problems that they are currently worrying about? Write them down. Now, they're also moving away from a fear. Thinking about that ideal client. What is the one thing, if you got your ideal client in a room on their own and they were talking to you and they were sharing with you, you know what, Janine, my biggest fear right now is that I'm the world's best kept secret. My biggest fear right now is that I'm just overwhelmed with where to start. My biggest fear right now is that I'm not making any money. I'm working so damn hard, I can't seem to break through this revenue line. Like the stuff that they're talking about openly, but then I want you to go deeper. I want you to think about what is the problem that they haven't shared? What is the thing that keeps them awake at night? Where they go, but you know what, Janine? The thing I'm really scared of is, what is that? What is their one fear? The thing that keeps them up at night. Your job in understanding them is to absolutely understand their three frustrations or their problems and their biggest fear. What is their biggest fear? That biggest fear is the thing where they're, oh my God, I feel that. Yeah, that really hurts. It's the thing that's hurting them. It's the thing that keeps them awake at night. It's the thing that they're not telling anyone. It's the thing that is the biggest fear, the biggest pain that if you can solve it for them, is going to change their world. I need to get clear on that. Now, if we flip to the other side of this page, the artistry is about, okay, what are the opposites of that? So if you've got frustration 1, 2, and 3, what is want? What is the opposite wants? And I often say to my clients, I literally just do the opposite. If 1 is the frustration, what's number 1 want? If 2 is the frustration, what's number 2 want? If 3 is the frustration, what's number 3 want? And finally, what is their biggest aspiration? What is their biggest dream? Okay, so get clear on that. So that's step number 3. So step number 1 is we are identifying who our A-grade clients are and what is it about them that makes them an A-grade client. Step number 2 is I want you to describe them. Imagine the outside of them. How would you describe them in terms of their demographics, their background, etc., etc.? And step number 3 is about understanding them. I want you to get deep. I want you to understand what are their frustrations, their fears, what are their wants and their aspirations. And then step number 4 is we bring it all together. And this is how we are then able to develop our marketing campaigns, our social campaigns, our lead magnets, our programs, how we sell based on showing that we understand our customers deeply. What I've shared with you in your workbooks or here right now, if you want to do a screenshot, is this is the client roadmap that I use to be able to, on one page, really see a picture of my ideal clients. And this becomes the anchor around which we develop our marketing, our sales strategy, our business strategy, our product strategy to ensure that we are continually working with the clients that we want to work with in the way that we want to work, doing the work that we want to do. Essentially, step number 4 is bringing it all together. So I'll just quickly wrap this up for you. And then you can take this and look at whether there is an alignment or a misalignment in terms of how you're currently going to market, how you're currently selling yourself, how you're marketing yourself, and even how you're actually pulling together those conversations that you're having with your potential clients. Because you can bet my bottom dollar, if you've got a lot of B, C, and D grade clients, it's because there is a mismatch between your ideal client and how you're going to market. So what we've got to do is, first of all, you put in here who your customers are, who your ideal client is. Step number 1, let's just put it here. This comes back to step number 1. And you're taking the values from step number 1 and you're adding them in there. You're then going to go to so this is number 1 and number 2. So number 1 is down here actually. And let me just take that out. This is your step number 2. So if you go back here, just so it makes sense, there's number 1. You've taken your 4 values and you've put them on your client roadmap. Step number 2 is you're describing who your client is or are. Now, wants and dreams becomes 3. Comes from 3. And finally, you add in how you help, and your skills and experience. Now, I'm just going to put one extra layer on this for you to think about. Let me just change this numbering for a second. So let's just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's what happens when we pull together our communication. We go about it all the wrong way. More often than not, what I see happening is our communication starts with, hey, look how awesome I am. And this is how I can help. I'm perfect to help you if you are A. And if we're lucky, we'll end up with 2 and 3. So we literally go 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, if you were looking at it in order. What we have to do is reverse that. We've actually got to start all our communication, all of our product development, all of our social media from the place of their wants and dreams, their problems, and their fears. You've got to show understanding and compassion. Got to show understanding and compassion first and foremost, to then talk about how you can help them, to finally talk about the social proof. So we've got to show understanding and compassion first, to then go on to how we can help, to then finally wrap it up with social proof. So step number 4 is develop your client roadmap. If you're watching this on replay, put replay. Let me know what was most valuable. If you want a copy of the workbook, just put client in the copy. If you're watching this now, I'd love to hear what was most useful. As I said at the beginning, clients are the lifeblood of our businesses. And yet too many of us, in our panic to get the sales, attract the wrong clients. There's a mismatch. And what ends up happening is we get frustrated because we're working with the wrong clients, doing the wrong product, selling the wrong product, and often selling it at the wrong price. The only way to attract the clients that you love into your business, to do the work that you want to do in the way that you want to do, is you first of all got to get clear on who is your ideal client. What are their values? Secondly, show that you understand them, not just from an external head place, but from an internal heart place. What are their fears and frustrations? What are their wants and aspirations? And then finally, bring it all together and make sure you flip your communication. Instead of talking about who you are and how awesome you are and who you help, flip the conversation into showing that you understand their clients. Show compassion by talking to their problems and understanding their desires. And then this is how I can help you and who you are. As I said, if you want a copy of the workbook, just put replay and I'll send it to you. Thank you for joining in today, and I will see you later for some more training next week. Take care, everyone.